obviously Mason Greenwood, because a lot's happened in the last, well, I'd say 24 hours, 48 hours, but prior to that as well, there's been a lot of toing and froing, I think, from the club, from Mason Greenwood's representatives and everything else. And really to give context as well to the story, and for people that may not know who haven't been following the story, obviously a lot happened. I feel like it was 2 years ago now. It's 2 years.
It was, yeah.
Some time ago. It was a while ago. Obviously a lot of I don't want to say physical, sexual abuse, or whatever you want, how you want to decorate that conversation, maybe for a separate podcast. But whatever happened, it meant that obviously Mason Greenwood had to be suspended, went to court. It was a criminal charge brought against him that was later dropped, and he was cleared of all charges. And I think Man United at the time, I think, suspended him for a while. He returned back to the club. He was back trading individually away from, I think, from the first team, but I'm not sure whether it was Carrington or whether it was somewhere separate, but he was still training to keep himself fit in anticipation that he would have a role to play at Man United at some point. So I believe. So if I've got any of that wrong, then so please comment and correct me. But United have then since come out and said that he won't be part of the club anymore. There's a mutual agreement from player, club, that they feel that he should move on. The player feels that as well. I just want to get your thoughts on that, because, and I didn't want to speak about this until it kind of got resolved. But before we came on recording, you said that it might not be resolved. So what's your initial thoughts initially on the initial statement that came out on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday, to say that the club had sort of parted ways and player was parting ways as well? What was your initial thoughts? Is that the right call as well? Is that what should have happened, 18 months ago or whatever, or 6 months ago?
I mean, for me, I didn't want him at the club as soon as the stuff on social media was posted. For me, I was job done. And the reason I didn't want it is because I'm going to be very careful here. We get to see a snippet of what's actually happened. We got social media posts. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's happened over a lifespan of when they've been together. Him and his girl, right? And the thing about it is, I don't think there's any smoke without fire. I don't think, even if he'll come and tell me that didn't happen, I feel like something did happen where she felt threatened, where she felt scared, and dare I say, use the word, where she was abused. Now, when it comes to the statement, I think the main statement was a load of BS. And the reason I say it's a load of BS is because essentially what that statement was is we did our own investigation alongside, obviously, the police. We found out whatever we could find out, worked with the family of the victim. And in our opinion, he's innocent. We found nothing wrong. He's innocent. But we have spoken to him, and this is the thing that irks me. It's not that this mutual agreement thing for me is BS. Essentially, what they made it look like in the statement is we were cool with him coming back, but you didn't want him here, so because of you, we're throwing him away. That's what it sounds like to me. Rather than a simple, we've agreed to part ways for the best interest of the club and for him to go away, and if he carries his career on elsewhere, wherever. But it made it look like you're blaming us. And my thing is, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think people were going to be comfortable because you said that you don't think he's done it? He wasn't. They made a statement in there where I think they said he was cleared of charges, or Mason Greenwood said that the charges were, he was cleared of, he was found innocent. That's the word. He was found innocent. Both of them said that. You weren't found innocent. A key witness, which in My United statement or Richard Arnold's statement, one of the two, said that the victim asked for the case to be dropped. So they didn't go to a court of law, and he stood up in front of people and they gave the verdict as not guilty. It was dropped, and there was evidence that came out that I guess maybe worked in his favor. So that in his side, okay, that can work in his favor, and I understand that. I'm not going to take that away from him. However, he also said in his statement, I didn't do any of those things, but I have made mistakes. So you've done something wrong. That for me is enough. Point blank period. I just don't want it here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very strict on that because I know how I am. I know how I feel about things. That's just my thought. If you are a United fan that wanted Mason Greenwood back, do you? I made a statement on a podcast last week. I said, if he has to play for that club again, you will not catch me cheering him. I do not care, and I'm being very, very honest with this. Anyone that knows me knows how I'm this straight direct with this. He could score the winner in a Champions League final. I'll sit there. Honestly, I'll sit there.
Got to. Yeah.
I'll be, when the full-time whistle blows, I'll be delighted that Manchester United have won the Champions League because it makes me feel back to the day of when I was in year 10 when Man United won the Champions League in 2008, or when I was in primary school and they won it in 99, and that's when I really understood because my dad was gassing me about football and Man United. And I was like, oh, okay, so winning Champions League, okay, like that's thinking back to then. But I can't have that feeling towards him. I cannot. And the biggest thing as well from this whole case that's irked me is I understand he's the footballer. I understand he's the high-profile person, player, wherever. But a lot of United fans didn't really consider the girl in this. And that's a big problem. Not when in these conversations, whether it's like podcasts or spaces on Twitter or social media, just threads or whatever, not once did I say, or hear rather, someone say, oh, is she okay? What's going on with her? Now, I don't expect her to make a statement. She's the victim. She can deal with it how she wants to, because God forbid anyone else goes through that kind of traumatic experience. She unfortunately did. So I'm not gonna sit there and say she should make a statement. She should do this. I want to know what's, because you I don't have the right to. No one does. It's up to her. It's absolutely up to her. So my thing is she okay? Now, if she's okay to continue being with him, apparently they've had now, well, they're still together, they've had a child together. I'm not saying for that reason that's why United should, because I think we're all grown up enough to know that there's some people that have been in abusive relationships but have continued to have families with people. It's happened. So I don't know what's going on there. My main thing is she okay? Whether he plays for Man United or not doesn't concern me. Is she fine? Is she okay? Is this going to happen again? Because if so, she needs to be looked after. That's the main thing for me. But the reason why I said to you I don't think it's resolved is because they were talking about parting ways, and then credited journalists that are really good with Man United news, that are very much on it with Man United news, and it's very direct, it's very good, came out and said that there might be a plan where Man United loan him out and help him, I don't know, fix his image and integrate him back into the team maybe in a year or two. And the other reason being because it's still it's monetary purposes, you know.
Yeah.
Bro, like, I've always said this: football is a nasty sport. Just like most sports and most businesses, when you get to talk about big money, it's nasty. It's never going to be clean. I understand that, but there's some circumstances where you just got to put all that to the side and say this can't run. You have to. That's what I firmly believe, anyway. So, I mean, I'm glad that he's not going to play for us. I'm not so sure if he's not going to play for Man United again. Because he could. I don't know what's going to happen there.
I don't think he will. I don't think he can. I don't think he can.
I hope he can. I hope he can.
I think, and this is my own personal opinion, I think United have left it so long, and every now and again, they've been testing the waters to see what the reaction's going to be. And I think the final one, and what they were doing, if you remember, well, the World Cup's been on, the Women's World Cup, is their backup thing was we're waiting for the players who play for United Women to come back to the club to get their opinion on things. So they always had that as their final little thing to say, we're not going to do anything until we've spoken to. You shouldn't even get to that. Like, let's be real. My job, anyone's job, he works day to day, whatever you do, whatever your profession, if them videos came out and your manager or your company found them and they were, you got called into your workplace for them, instant dismissal.
Facts.
Instant dismissal. It doesn't care what you do. If you're working with kids, children, women, a hospital, whatever, instant dismissal. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It don't matter. You don't even get to speak. You just empty your things. The door's there. Leave your pass with security, whatever. That's how it works. Now, because he's a professional footballer, things are slightly different because obviously he's contracted. There's millions at stake and blah, 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 and compensation. I think one of the things that should hopefully change when they do this thing now, when we sign in big players on 8-year, 9-year deals, is we should put something in their contract to say if they do something crazy like this, or they're accused of doing something crazy like this, instant dismissal, forget your compensation, forget whatever. And to be fair, even if they don't put that in there, United need to take a loss on him. It's unfortunate. You might lose, I don't know what his valuation was, whether it's 30, 40, 50 million, I don't know. But you take a loss because you know what? The repercussions of trying to play him are a lot worse, and they could probably hit you financially, cripple you more than if you play him.
Yeah.
So for me personally, there's no logical explanation why it's the moment he left court and he was cleared, because you're right. I mean, people keep saying, oh, but he should play because he's been cleared and he's found innocent. He wasn't found innocent. He didn't even get to trial. Remember, we didn't get to trial. So the jury didn't even get to decide if he was guilty or not guilty. The evidence wasn't submitted in court. The alleged victim, the victim, dropped the case before he even got to court. So to say he's innocent, and that offense is hard to get a conviction for anyway in court, regardless of the evidence. So you only have to go and check statistics to tell you that. But keeping it on football, I think he should definitely not play for the club again. There's no logical explanation why you'd have someone tarnishing the club's reputation. Like, to me, that's crazy to think that you'd want someone who's expected to probably still do, footballers don't just train and go home. They're obligated to do, go and visit children in hospital. They're obligated to go to primary schools. They're obligated to go on this talk show, that talk show, and represent the club. They might have to go and speak at a women's refuge. You don't know. So you really want Mason Greenwood, where you've seen him, you've heard his voice on these videos, to go and do that? I'm going to stop before I say too much. But my point is that I think, you shouldn't have taken United this long to get to that decision. And I'd be very shocked if they even allow him to step out on the turf, even on a charity match at Old Trafford again, because I think there's too much at stake. And, this should have been wrapped up. The moment those videos hit the internet, bye, get out, don't come back. That's it. There's no other questions I need to ask. You just got to go, and all the best for the future, whatever your future looks like. That's it. Yeah. Even if he's not guilty, even if he says and it comes out it's not even him, sorry, we can't associate ourselves with someone who's been accused of these things. It's that simple, And I think if he played, I think it would have damaged United's season. 100%. I think had he played, I think it would have disrupted the season and derailed it completely. So I'm glad that he had. Well, from a Chelsea perspective, if I'm being honest, I mean, I need United to drop some points this season. But no, on a serious note, I think it would have disrupted everything that Ten Hag's trying to do. So I'm glad it's resolved to an extent. Hopefully your theory or your creditable sources are wrong, because I don't want to see him kicking ball anywhere. And there's link of him going to Saudi, and apparently they've said, "Nah, we don't want anything to do with you." So I'd love to know where the loan's going to be, I suppose.
What I'm going to say is, I haven't seen how Maynard have handled some things. Not as bad as this.
No, I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it's especially since 2013. Yeah, man.
You can go back to America now, innit?
No names. But yeah, man.
Yeah.